Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and you might remember the roadmap. We've been talking about this for quite some time, but during the 5.0 launch, Thrones of Decay DLC, this is something that we're expecting in winter 2023, we're going to get the Nemesis Crown, something that we're going to be talking about in a future video. Now some of you are already well versed with the Nemesis Crown, and if you don't want to wait, some modders have implemented the Nemesis Crown and their own campaign mechanic for it, which I think is going to be quite interesting. Now keep in mind that you're going to need the following mods, all of which are going to be linked in the description below, as the factions available can only be accessed by this. And how it's going to work is you've got a decent amount of different factions. You see you've got Temple Hearth, the Red Horn Tribe, Scabby Eye Tribe, Zatlan, Orion's Camp, and Treehammer's Tribe, which means that you can get Ogres, Wood Elves, Lizard Men, Orcs and Goblins, obviously Greenskins, Beastmen, or Vampire counts for this campaign with its own unique mechanics. So we're going to jump right into a campaign and yeah, just have a little bit of fun. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to play as the Beastmen, as it's going to be the easiest one out of all of them, I'd say. All you have to do is go up to this specific area. This would be Krugenheim in Talabecland, and you'll just have to conquer the city. Obviously, there's certain factions which are quite far away, and for the Beastmen, it's super simple. You know, take a beast herd there. I know it's a bit far from where you'd normally do, because obviously you'd do something in Stirland, but it's pretty much worth it. And from there, you'd continue from your campaign as normal until some other things start kicking in. So let's just get to that point right now. But yeah, take the location and then click the handy button next to your end turn screen, and yeah, here you go. You can pick up the item or you can put it away. Now what you can already notice is the item is incredibly powerful, providing some faction-wide bonuses to all armies, extra control to all provinces, which is kind of useless for the Beastmen, but you do get extra dread gain from battles. Overall, this is absolutely amazing, and it can get stronger. But just like the Sword of Cain, there are a few negatives, so we will talk about that in a second, but take advantage of this. If you can get this early on, obviously with the Ogres and the Beastmen it's easier, then obviously after that would be our friends at Templehof. The rest of it would be a bit longer depending on where you are and how long it takes you. Sometimes it's not ideal to get it from the very beginning, by the way, and this is a reason why. Every other faction involved, even if you're not playing them, is actively trying to get the Nemesis Crown, meaning that here we are in turn 9 very early on. Thankfully, I'm on an easy campaign for showcase purposes, but you'll see that the Bowmen of Orion, one of the factions involved, has sent an army and declared war on me. Yeah, they instantly teleport a rather tasty stack, which you're going to see in just a little bit, but this means that you're constantly going to be under the threat of assault, which works out quite well, because obviously this means that you can get a lot more dread if you're playing as the Beastmen, and really you can power level up your character, but early on, you're going to suffer. Again, easy, it's an easy auto-resolve, but yeah, the forces get stronger as time progresses. This is something that I've noticed as the campaign has gone on through my own personal campaign, but it definitely gives you that feeling of these factions are out to get the Nemesis Crown, and you're going to have to beat them and destroy them to be able to relax a little bit more. Now, obviously, you do have to keep in mind that the Nemesis Crown does reduce diplomatic relations with all factions, so eventually you're going to be public enemy number 1. The great thing is this gives you a bunch of enemies to fight, as you're constantly going to be assailed by those 6 factions unless they get destroyed. Sometimes they will, because obviously keep in mind that, say for example, Scabby Eye is going to get targeted by a bunch of factions in the Darklands. But by that point, you're going to start dealing with other factions, so yeah, you're going to have a variety of things to fight, and I think that works out quite well, because one thing that does get kind of boring in Total War Warhammer is when you're fighting the same thing over and over. So yeah, you've been able to see some Greenskins attacking, there's also the Undead, which, not too much of an issue, especially as the Beastmen, you will have a lot of skirmish against them. But the factions do get stronger, and obviously the armies that I've seen do vary. You've been able to see some of them here. Some of them are quite powerful, some of them are just pretty weak. But again, it does make you feel like enemies are constantly attacking you. It's a pretty fun mechanic. It's kind of something similar that I imagine Creative Assembly would have thought of if they're going by the description of the actual campaign way back in the day. Even better so, as your campaign starts progressing, just like the Sword of Cain, you'll get a pop-up every few turns. I think it's kind of RNG based, I'm not 100% too sure, but the bonuses will get bigger. As you can see here, the bonuses are much better than they were when you originally picked them up, and they'll keep getting stronger to a certain cap, obviously, but yeah, you've got a lot of bonuses here, right? You've got speed, melee attack, and Winds of Magic Power Reserve capacity for all armies faction-wide, getting a lot stronger, a lot more control or dread gain from battle, depending on what faction you're playing. But the diplomatic relations does start tanking. Minus 40 is something that you need to note, because if you're playing in harder difficulties, you are going to start having a lot more factions fighting against you. So yeah, very similar to the Sword of Cain's effects and so on. And it'll just keep getting stronger, which means that you're going to have a hectic campaign. Again, which is important, because some people want more of a, I need everyone fighting left, right, and center. This is Total Warhammer, not Total War Peace Hammer. You know, I think this is kind of cool. Roundabout, the third upgrade is more or less why I said you might want to wait before you pick it up, because minus 60 diplomatic relations with all factions, and then obviously you have to take into account anything that you're naturally generating, any aversion and so on. It does turn into a bit of a slog. Obviously, your armies are much more powerful. The crown is basically controlling everyone, but yeah, it does get a little bit awkward. Obviously, the Beastmen are going to be the easiest one out of all the campaigns because you are so highly mobile. But when it comes to every other faction, you will be suffering a little bit. It depends, really, how difficult you want this. The Beastmen and I think the Ogres probably have it the best. But if you want the slow grow and you want the more powerful bonus to kind of work your way up there, I quite like the Bowman campaign. That's the one that I've been playing, as it means you can take a while before getting it, because the one thing I don't really like too much about Alariel is that you can really get the Sword of Cain very, very quickly. And yeah, it's a fun weapon to use, but I kind of like the build up to actually get the sword rather than getting it within the first 20 turns or so. So yeah, let me give you some general thoughts about this. Yeah, really, really like this. It's something which adds in a bit of flavor, especially right now where everyone's coming off the high from the Chaos Dwarves. Now you've got something to try out if you want something completely different. There are two other factions that are going to come in soon enough, but that's not revealed just yet. It is mentioned, though, in the future plan section. Again, this is a mod by Rox and Inu, or Inu. I'm not too sure what the correct pronunciation for that is, but yeah, definitely something that if you are coming off the Chaos Dwarf high and you want to play something else, you want to have fun with something kind of thematic, relive a tabletop campaign, this is definitely the one for you. All the factions are really enjoyable to play, especially since they've all got their own unique stuff. They're not a vanilla-based lord. Obviously, everything is a modded character, but still really, really cool. This is kind of what I want more from Total War Warhammer. I want some more themed campaigns, even if it's not like tied to a DLC, just like a patch. It's great to see modders do it. It's definitely something that I imagine Creative Assembly might do. Hell, I really think they might have had a similar plan for the Nemesis Crown with this. But yeah, you're going to want to check it out. It's going to be found in the description below. All the associated mods will also be found in the description below. And let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's have a bit of a discussion. I know a lot of people are hyped up for the Nemesis Crown, and now you've got your own version to play around with. And yeah, have a great day, guys. I'll see you all again very, very soon.